Hi, this is Matt Donegan from Business Spotlight. I'm here with Francisco. Francisco, can you tell me who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please?
Sure. Francisco, I'm the founder of TeamSportz. TeamSportz is a sports platform that uses artificial intelligence to help sports clubs, sports organizations, and obviously coaches and athletes improve their performance. That's what we do, and I've been doing for, depending on how you count, for about 5 years. But we really only launched a year and a half, sort of, to market formally.
So you've got a really exciting product. Of course, I've checked it out. It looks absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of excitement about it. What made you start the business in the first place?
I wish it was sort of a eureka moment, but it actually was not. So I have worked as a software engineer. I started writing code very young age. I didn't even know I could make money out of writing code. For me, it was just a way to hack into things and speed up my games back in the time when you could. And I always played basketball. I started playing basketball because my mom taught me to play basketball, and I was lucky to have played and lived in Angola, where I was born. I played in Brazil. I played in Portugal. And I still play here in UK. At 44 years old, I'm still standing, playing a D1 team. You know, the knees don't agree with my decisions, but creating TeamSportz was really bringing my passion and my skills together into something that actually I was facing as a problem myself. So before TeamSportz became what is TeamSportz, I was already doing experiments to track my own team performance indoors. So, and then at some point, London Sports said, "Hey, here's £20,000 for you to deploy this technology to other teams." And at that point was the eureka moment. Hold on, other people think this is real and this is useful, and so it was sort of making a decision on either run with it and make it a serious business or continue as a side project. Luckily, I run with it, and here we are.
So this is an AI-driven application, isn't it, for sports coaching, essentially? It looks like a really, really, really clever piece of kit. Have you got many competitors in the marketplace?
Depending, competition is one of those things. So yes, we do have competitors. Most of them are American companies, but those companies often are looking into the professional market. So they're looking to the semi-pros and competitive sort of sports at professional level. Whilst TeamSportz is not looking at the professionals. So we're looking at the grassroots. So we're looking at essences. So we've got schools, we've got academies, we've got local independent clubs. But what we believe is the opportunity for TeamSportz, and I guess that is one of our differentiators, is being able to provide technology to develop athletes so that if they want to become professionals, there are more opportunities for them to become professionals, but also to enable more people to take part in the sports economy, which admittedly now only starts at a professional level, and actually should have started much earlier. Because there is a market for it. And so that is where TeamSportz operates. So in essence, I don't think we've got a true competitive, depending on in which lens you use to compare us with other businesses. There are competitors. Obviously, the sports market is huge, not just from the types of sports that they're out there, but also the types of technologies and needs sports clubs use it. TeamSportz brought it all together in one place and make it affordable, which then suits a grassroots market.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with sports coaching, I'm fortunate in that I help coach a sports team, a rugby team, and also I've got a history and background in football as well. So those team sports, we often look at technique, even at a relatively young age, because technique is everything, particularly when you've got contact sport. So I clearly see the opportunity for even youth clubs coming through to show what their players, how they're performing and otherwise. So presumably that's another part of the marketplace that you plan on targeting.
Yes. So we are close to getting to 30 sports in the platform. Wow. Although our website feels very out of date. yes, we do have a bunch of tools that help coaches coach better. In this case, focus on the things that will help them develop the players, whether it's a technique, video analysis, draw on video, all those clever things that you see on a match of the day in the morning. You actually have got the same sort of technology affordably for the video capture using a phone or a tablet, so no special equipment is needed. And yes, your rugby team should be in TeamSportz platform, really.
Perfect. I'll get them on there as soon as I can. So what's the business journey been like since you started? How quickly have you been growing? What's the, has there been a hockey stick involved anywhere? What's, talking about sports,
Sure.
What's your journey been like?
I think I doubt there are many businesses that hit hockey stick. Maybe I guess OpenAI is possibly the odd one out in billions of businesses out there. I think starting a business has so many other nuances and lessons to learn, that if you don't learn those lessons, you're never going to hit that hockey stick growth. So we actually started as a hardware. We started by creating a way to track players indoors without using GPS, without using 4Gs, etc. And so, and we pivoted away from hardware, and then went into computer vision and machine learning. So had I know what I know now, would have done differently? Probably I would. We spend a lot of money in hardware, but the reality is that it helped us as a team to realize there were more than one way to solve a problem. Yes. And so the team that really believed on the mission and what we were trying to achieve stayed, even though we literally went from left to right, from a hardware development, which is a very different business, to a software development only. And the team that believed that there were more than one way to solve our problem stayed with us. And so if I had to do it again, I would start again and start with the hardware, because it's sort of those underlying lessons that you don't know what you don't know until you have those problems, have those barriers, and then realize, oh, okay, this is interesting. I didn't know that, but now I know better. So I think all business, and we, speaking myself, is not different. We had our lessons learned, and until the point that we were ready for investment. If you had asked me 5 years ago, if you asked me, would you like some cash? I would say, yes, give me some cash. But the reality is that, and this is, I guess, perhaps one of the lessons that I've learned, is that not all businesses are ready for investment, not at every stage. And cash and investment not always get translated into business success or product success. Yeah. So it is important for business to realize that it's a journey to follow, because you also don't want a hockey stick when you're not ready, when your team didn't go into division, when you don't have the right team, when you don't have the right infrastructure, and so on and so on. So, fast growth is a way some businesses get put out of business, and cease to exist. And so, no, we actually didn't have any hockey stick until we were ready and we raised investment and we launched to market with the right product. During lockdown, the Manchester University picked up and started using our product, and then it's been growth ever since. But we still believe in a sustainable growth, and we want to grow like any other business, but we also think that actually, we need to be ready for example, let's say, tackle the Japanese market. Yeah. We're not ready now. We're ready for the English-speaking market, UK, US. But beyond that, will require, other things that we don't have in place now. And as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that. Otherwise, yeah, that could be your doom. But,
Yeah, having that super wide vision, but a really, really tight focus. That's a really good point. I can't help but mention the fact you've got some really big supporters of your product, of your business. You've got some phenomenal investors on board, and I'm sure they're bringing some great market intelligence and business intelligence right across the board. At this moment in time, what's your biggest challenge?
It is so we are growing instead of what our biggest challenge is sort of how can we tap into the right growth? How can we sign the right commercial contract with the right organizations that need our product? That is a challenge sort of in growing. The risks on that challenge is sometimes there are opportunities that are presented to us which are not quite right, and sort of being able to say no to some of those opportunities to find the right ones is really, really important. So that's our challenge at the moment. That's all I focus on, is bringing the right partners, the right clubs that need our technology, and be able to say, actually, you are a club of 10 players only. You actually could do it with WhatsApp. You don't need TeamSportz.
Yeah.
And be able to say, actually, you are a professional club. No, we're not anywhere near. We don't want to be near any professional clubs. However, if you as a professional club have got an academy and a development academy, a pathway for players to become professionals, then spot on. Let's have a conversation, because that's the right opportunity. Yeah. And that is, surprising enough, that is also challenging, being able to say no to certain opportunities. Yeah.
I imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but you have some pretty good voices with the investors that you have. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who they are.
No, it's public. We're allowed to say.
So from a marketing perspective, for instance, you have Rand Fishkin, who's a bit of a legend in the marketing industry, kind of king of CEO, and lots of other things as well. Author of Lost and Founder, great book, by the way. Absolutely love it. I imagine there are certain areas that you've got huge strengths in. Is it a challenge to find where your weaknesses are? Because we all have weaknesses.
No, I don't think so. I think we tried to. So going back to our set of investors and advisors, yes. So they are part of the team, and they are our investors and our advisors because they bought into the vision, and they are a very good sounding board for me as a founder, because they've done it, they've seen it all, they've done it multiple times, and so I can tap into their knowledge and their skills to be able to avoid some pretty catastrophic sort of decisions otherwise. So that's awesome to have, and every entrepreneur should think like that. Should think about, you don't have to follow that journey on your own. I mean, the journey by itself is lonely enough already, but figure out a way to have a sounding board that has done it, have seen it, and the more of those you can listen to, the best decisions you can make and navigate through the challenges and the weaknesses. No, all businesses have got challenges and weaknesses, and those change as we progress. So, and I think one of the biggest weakness is sort of that transition from a product development to sort of a growth phase is tricky, and obviously hiring the right people becomes challenging. But this is not those are challenges. I've worked for 22 businesses in UK alone, so those are not problems exclusively to startups. No, it is super hard to hire as a startup, because you cannot compete on salaries, you cannot compete on benefits, etc. And so you need to rely on your vision, but also rely on expertise of my investors and advisors, because they've done it all. So they were a startup at some point. And sort of, how did you do it? How did you attract the right talents at that point? Okay, here's some ideas that you've tried, and now I can go on and try those ideas. But yeah, it's easier to find the challenge when you're starting a business than otherwise. But yeah,
and I'll keep flooding towards you. So are you on track for your growth goals then?
We never are, right? Our growth goals are always changing the post. We are, so we broke even as a startup, so which is a great place to be as a milestone. We have just signed a 3-year contract with London Youth Games, so we are onboarding now 1,500 schools in London, and this goes up to 3,000 schools. All the 32 boroughs are now have got access to our platform. So we are growing and growing fast, supporting sports that are not TeamSportz anymore. So I need to think about if TeamSportz is the right name for the company now. But again, so those new challenges, new opportunities. We are growing. We're growing well, and it's really a testament that a lot of grassroots market, your rugby team, I'm sure you will relate to what I'm saying, is vastly underserved.
Yeah.
It is. So we make do with spreadsheets, with WhatsApp groups, and all sorts of other YouTube reels and all sorts of other things. But actually, there is nothing in place that it is supporting the club, the team, or the organization well enough so that club, team, and organization can focus on the beautiful thing, which is the sport and the player development.
Yeah.
Because everyone is running around doing admin work, chasing people, multiple WhatsApp groups, and so on and so on. And obviously, at grassroots level, it is not a relationship between the coach and the player that is in question. It's also a relationship between the coach, the player, and the parents or carers. Yeah. So it's a multitude of stakeholders actually involved in delivering a sports activity at grassroots level. Yeah. And no one else is thinking like that. Well, now there is one, because I play basketball at a grassroots level, and I know exactly what are the pain points. And TeamSportz, solves there, buys coaches' time, buys players' time, help stakeholders like parents to be involved in a process, with payments, collections, so all brought into one place. So yeah, but yeah. This is the opportunity as well. Yeah.
So growth plans, we never quite achieve them. I think it's
exactly.
I think it's not only Google that does this when they work to quarterly OKRs, but they always set a stretch and then a super stretch. And exactly, yeah. No one's ever going to hit the super stretch, but that's what you reach for. And I guess that's what you guys are reaching for at the moment. Sounds like you're making some really, really great headway, which is fantastic. Yeah. What's been the biggest lesson over the last few years for you?
Wow, there's so many. It's definitely something has to be said about there are many ways to solve your problems. And so try, test, and make mistakes is a really important part of the process that no business or startup should ever move away from despite your growth. So you need to always try to figure out a way that you can try and test and understand sort of your product and the development of your product and roadmap being super, super close to your end user. And as you grow, that becomes slightly difficult to achieve, because your users and someone building the product and roadmap often in multi degrees apart. So this is something that we have done, and we baked that into our product even when we didn't have users.
Right.
So we didn't have users. We had a quick feedback loop that actually turned their feedback into a task, into our roadmap, into our product development, so that everyone, the developers, the QAs, the designers, the marketing, everyone can engage with that and say, actually, let me pick this up and share with and introduce myself to their user and say, hey, thanks for giving us some feedback. Do you have any more questions? Here, our calendar link. By the way, I'm the developer, writing the code. And so this is something that we've done well. And I think this is definitely a lesson learned. Not to lose that is super important.
So
if I'm
like a really rapid lean methodology that you've got going there, that it sounds like, and super fast development, being really responsive even when there isn't that much data, which is a challenge. So if you're going to go back to when if you met your 18-year-old self, what would you say to yourself? What advice would you give?
I would say start a business straight away, because I wish I had done it earlier. But at the same time, I'm not sure at 18 years old I could have done what I've done today. So I've worked for many businesses in the UK. I've worked in some very interesting projects. I worked for the largest publishers in UK. And so is that expertise and understanding and seeing what was bad about working for some of those companies and projects and teams that now I can do slightly different. So I'm not sure my 18-year-old would have been ready for it. I guess I would say try to learn as much before you start a business, as that would be definitely a sound advice for my 18-year-old. Not sure I would be listening to myself, but
read more books, listen to
exactly.
podcasts, listen to audiobooks.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree with you more. I speak to so many entrepreneurs, and they often say starting early would be the thing they really do. And business education comes right up there as well. So what plans have you got that you'd like to share with us?
Look, London Youth Games is our big plan now, because it's so close to our mission. We set ourselves to create a sports platform that supports a player no matter where you are, no matter what walks of life, and London Youth Games will be able to demonstrate that, because some of the youngest players are 9 years old, and those players one day they'll be 44 years old like me, and they'll be able to trace back their sports performance since they were 9, because they now have got a TeamSportz account. So and this is exactly why I created TeamSportz for, and I think everyone else taking part in the sports economy, be able to understand what sports development is, and be able to build that with ease at grassroots level. And you can't get more grassroots than a 9-year-old doing a sports activity at London Youth Games. That's our big plan. That's our big play now, and we want to execute that well, because we believe this is needed elsewhere. It's needed in Scotland, it's needed in Wales, it's needed in Ireland, and the rest of the world needs precisely that.
I can almost imagine a day when kids turn around, or young people as they're coming through their sports career, whether that's professional or amateur, saying, "What, you used to do it like this without team? You didn't used to have TeamSportz."
Exactly.
Like a mobile phone these days. What did you do for that piece of technology? It becomes so ingrained in our system, and it looks like you've got a product that can do that. And it's really exciting what you've got.
Thank you.
I think it's you're really onto something. So so you've told about your plans. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
We've got some interesting developments on our motion tracking technology. This is breaking news, but we have very, very close to be able to detect the quality of movement. Now, you might wonder, Francisco, what does that mean? It means that for the first time, you can have a piece of technology in your phone that can help you understand the correct form and the quality of your exercise. And so if you abstract the exercise and you think the quality of your movement, means that for the first time, coaches and trainers will be able to help their players recover from injuries whilst remote. And so this is breaking news for you only, Matt. So I can think of the applications
right now, literally.
Exactly.
Literally right. That's
exactly,
brilliant.
yeah. So yes, so this is happening.
That's so exciting. That's absolutely amazing. You've got to tell me more about that. The next time we chat, you're going to tell me more about that, because I really want to hear more. Okay, listen, thanks so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
It's got a really exciting business. It sounds like you're really going places. You've got a great plan. You've got some great people around you. Let's keep in touch. Let's
definitely
find out more about these products, because they're moving really quickly as well. And your business growth, because I think it's going to, you might not hit a hockey stick yet, but I kind of think it might be around.
I think so too.
Thanks for your time. I'm sure you're going to be a success. Let's keep in touch. And thank you so much.
No, thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me.